Let's talk about somewhere that's very close to your heart and the challenges in Malawi right now. Set the scene. What is life like for children, for communities in that part of the world at the moment?
Yeah, so Andrew, I had the opportunity back in May to head across to Malawi, and really, it's a lot of the main things: food insecurity, unclean water that leads to preventable diseases,
Hmm.
as well as education. More than half of children in Malawi don't go through to secondary school.
Hmm.
So, there's a lot of things that are happening there, as well as natural disasters in some of the areas that I went to down in near Chipelli, which is further south on the border of Mozambique. They've been prone to getting hit by natural disasters, which just really brings about real uncertainty for the people,
Hmm.
where they're like, oh, well, when is the next disaster going to hit? We can build. So, really just strips away their belief and hope for a brighter future.
And one of the challenges I think we can face when we hear about these things in New Zealand is we hear these big numbers, right? We hear like 10,000 of this, 100,000 of that, but it can be that really personal connection that suddenly makes it more real and in some ways gives us a sense of how transformative it can be. And for you, that personal connection came in the form of Clements. Tell me about Clements.
Yeah, so my wife and I and our family, we got the opportunity to be chosen back in August last year. I've been with World Vision just over a year and a half now, but I'm going around churches and having these chosen events, and you can't really be really speaking about it unless you boots and all in on it. So, the trip to Malawi had the opportunity to meet up with Clements, our sponsor child, the one that's chose us. And before we went over through the sponsorship portal that you can access digitally these days, he sent us a video, and I saw that in the video, which we hadn't known before, that he had a limp. No, sort of his left hand was completely limp, and I said to my wife, "Hey, I think he might have some type of disability, but I'm not sure." So anyway, they set up the meeting with him and got to meet him, and I gently asked his dad. I said, "Hey, what's the story with Clemence's with his hand?" And he went on to tell me that when Clements was a young boy, he basically got sick and it destroyed the tendons in his hand, and he's lost use of it. I was told later by the World Vision staff that if that had been picked up in 1 to 2 years of him being sick, they could have done a corrective surgery. But at that point, World Vision wasn't in the community. They've only been in this particular community for 2 years. And I sat there, Andrew, and I was like, man, I was just thinking of my boys and going, man, as a father, my heart broke.
Mm.
And I just said to his dad, I was able to speak to his dad, father to father, and go, hey, just know that there is a family in New Zealand that is praying for you every day, and that God has an amazing plan for Clements. He has a plan to prosper him, not to harm him, but to give him a hope and a future. And I just wanted to remind him that, like the future is bright, that Clements can experience life in all its fullness, and we are right behind them.
See, that life is just pouring out of you now, man. So I can tell you're so committed to this thing and the whole process of being chosen as well. Let's talk about that. I alluded to it a little before 9 o'clock, but it's a bit of a shift from those of us who are used to maybe going into a tent at an event and seeing a wall full of smiling faces. It's kind of been reversed these days.
Yeah, it has. So a lot of churches are and different. I know that Rhema ran a chosen campaign last year, going into the community of Adupi in Uganda. But basically, it's putting the power in the right hands. And if we talk about life in all its fullness, our vision here at World Vision is our vision for every child is life in all its fullness, based on John 10:10. Our prayer for every heart, the will to make it so. And if you talk about life in all its fullness, and it really is having all the choices on the table, and I get the power to choose. And so for the first time in these children's lives, they're having the power to empower them to step into this, where they actually have so our pictures will be lined up and they get to walk into this amazing choosing party and pick off who they want to be their sponsor. And, I was recently at a reveal, once you find out who chose you. And I was speaking with Anglican vicar, and he was saying to me, Spence, my wife and I, we've sponsored children for years. But, when we got chosen by this particular child in Bangladesh, it just seemed different. It just seemed right. And it really is about, these children, it's not about us and them. It's about we, and they've been made in the image of God too. And it's about really recognizing that and giving them the power to choose and making us the vulnerable ones.
Now, that is the relationship, of course, between the sponsor and the child. But let's take a moment as well to talk about the relationship between World Vision and local churches, because this is a wraparound relationship scenario going on here. So tell me about how World Vision partners with local churches and maybe what the opportunity is for those who are listening today and want to partner with World Vision in the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see the church as an indispensable partner of the work that we do. And really around this chosen initiative that we're running in churches and partnering with churches, it's really providing a vehicle for them to outwork global mission, to engage their people. And it really starts with the heart, Andrew. And one of the ways of obviously capturing our heart, God said, look after the least of these, that this is something that is so close to his heart. And if we want to understand his heart, we've got to be about the things that he's about. And he is about looking after the least of these. So, this is a great vehicle for churches to be able to engage their people in global mission, which in turn opens their eyes to local mission and to those neighbors that are right there beside them.
You can always tell the difference between people who have the head knowledge and who have the heart knowledge. And when I listen to you, mate, I can tell you're somebody who's 100% about this thing. It's so good to hear. And I know people who are giving towards World Vision will be thrilled to hear that from you as well. Maybe it's motivated them to get involved in some way today. So if they would like to follow through, what's the best way for them to begin that journey?
Best way is to jump to the website, www.worldvision.org.nz. But hey, if you're a pastor out there and you're listening, or you're a key leader within your church and you want to talk more about Chosen, you can go to that website too. There's a landing page that will connect you to the church team within your area. And we'd love to have a conversation, whatever that conversation is. What I love about World Vision is it includes all the generations, whether you're a grandparent, a parent, or you're a child, you can be involved. Even in the 40-hour challenge, there's just so many avenues where you can play your part.
So play your part today. If this has stirred something in you, it puts a smile on your face, head to worldvision.org.nz today. Spence, it's been an absolute joy, my friend. Continue your journeys and all the best.
Thanks, Andrew.
Amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss the next video.
We'll see you in the next one.